I am Rowan Hand. He is Cormac Campbell. This is Destination Newry, hosting our morning show. Good morning, Newry and morn in the world. And as we say in the colloquial dialect, how are you in yourself this morning, Cormac?
Not so bad, Rowan. You look like a man who's gorged himself on pancakes for the last 24 hours.
I didn't.
You didn't? No.
Are you saying I'm a fatty? Naturally a fatty?
You're someone who'll indulge when the time is right, Rowan.
But the trick, as we go on the pathway of life, is to determine when one eats one's pancakes and when one leaves them on the shelf. I'm very wise.
Very well. See, an old sage.
Now you got, not so much of the old, please. Tell me, the reporter's out today. What drum are you banging?
Well, obviously, we've got had to mark Pancake Tuesday somewhere.
A nice photograph.
So there's a nice photo of 3 young students from.
Let me see that photograph.
So it's tossing the pancake.
Yeah, it's a very dull photograph, is it not? You know what I'm saying? you know a beautiful photograph when you see it. But that's a photograph. Just seeing it, there's a grey wall.
I think it's more the expression of joy in the young girl's eyes. We'll
let you off with that.
You'll let me. I suppose there's no mistaking what the 2 main stories of the week in Newry have been. Firstly, the tiger kidnapping in Warren Point. Pretty horrific experience for the family involved. Yeah,
Davy was talking about that, Davy Beck, just a short while ago before you. It seems to be becoming more and more regular.
Well, the fear for certainly business people would be that somebody's watching their shop, somebody's watching their home, and the invasion of privacy of their home. And I think it's notable that the family in question, they haven't really made any comment about the goods that were taken from their shop. It's the personal items that were taken. Yeah. Certainly a football medal from the 1940s. That's a very high sentimental value, and you'll quite often find that those are the things that hurt most. Yeah. The other things can be replaced, there'd be insurance and whatnot. But once you've personal goods, can't be.
You're a clever man. You would know as well as I would know. Neither of us is criminally inclined, but it makes sense to me that if I go and if I take a swag of trinkets out of a shop, therein is the seeds of my demise, because it's all evidence. If I sell it at the pub or if I sell it at the races, it's all traceable back to me. I can understand if they were going for loads and loads of money, but going in for trinkets and stuff and jewellery.
I suppose the overwhelming fear is that some of these incidents are so well planned. They've obviously been scoping the people to target for quite some time, that they have a market already for what they're taking. The next day, it's not a lot of good news in the front page today.
It's not.
The unlawful abattoir detection in South Armagh. Now,
the Tan Bow or whatever it is, the Great Bull of Cooley. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think the Tan Bow's demise was a little more savoury.
It was
than what's happening.
I tried to get it out of Davy Beck this morning when they broke the doors down and within, metaphorically speaking. Did they see them all sort of churning out the sausages and pushing in one side and the sausage come? What was going on? But he said no, it wasn't quite that dramatic. So I didn't have a story there at all.
I don't think it would ever be just quite like it would be in the movies.
No.
But certainly somebody whose life could make a movie is Newry's oldest resident.
Wow.
Sally Brady,
Mickey's mother. Yeah.
Turned 105.
God.
This week.
God, that means Mickey is biologically suited to being with us for another 100 years.
That's about another 8 elections.
Mickey's a good lad, and I can make that joke.
She has quite a long time to go if she's going to equal the world record. The oldest woman in the world turned 116 this week.
That's nice.
She lives in a nursing home in Japan.
Yeah, so the Japanese have everything, you know. Fukushima, eat your heart out. We're going to live.
The secret to longevity.
Yeah, they seem to have it. What age will you live to yourself?
Myself? It's not something I've ever thought about, Rowan.
At 70 you will. I'm going to live to 120.
I think I'm more in the mind of as long as I'm healthy and happy and friends and family around me.
That's all right,
I've little to complain about.
Now, what a wise man. Yes. Where are you taking me now?
I'm taking you to roads that have no names.
Roads have no names?
Yeah. And there are 284 people in Newry and Mourne who live in a house on a road that has no official name. That's 72 roads in total. The majority of them happen to be in the Jarrett's Pass and Mulletlass area. There's 22 roads there with no official title. Actually, the Old Warren Point Road as well. This isn't on the list. This would be number 73.
Yeah.
The Old Warren Point Road isn't the real name of the road
Really?
because that used to just be the Warren Point Road.
It did, of course. It is, of course.
It was never officially renamed because it was still the Warren Point Road, as the other road was the A2.
Yes.
Dual carriageway. So that's something else they're going to change. So you could probably add 100 properties extra to that list. So what they're doing now is the concern is that for ambulance, fire service, police, even the postman, and I suppose to a lesser extent the pizza delivery man, a lot of them use GPS systems and.
Where are you? What's your postcode?
I know there was an incident last year where people who lived on what remains of the Hillhead Road, off Fathom,
of course,
that,
up above the quarry,
orders from internet delivery companies weren't reaching their houses because the delivery man was reaching the sign that said road ahead closed.
And he wouldn't go.
And he wouldn't go even though it was maybe 5
Did
or
you
6.
see that sign on the Warren Point Road at the graveyard before the roundabout at the time the Restreva Road was down? The sign said, Warren Point Road closed.
Don't go to Warren Point.
That's what they put on there. Like, how wrong can they get
No
it?
diversion.
These nonsense people who they put these things. Imagine not knowing, being a tourist or something. Oh, I'll not go there. I can't go there. Closed off from the world. You know, goodness. Yeah, you're still boxing.
I would be involved with Carried Off Amateur Boxing Club in Belfast. I would do a bit of coaching there.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to go the last couple of weeks because.
Were you any good as a boxer? What did you fight at?
I won more than I lost, but it was never championship material. Boxed for St. Brona's in Restreva.
You must have been quite a clever boxer because your nose isn't splattered all over your
It's
face.
funny you said that. I have 2 nose jobs.
You have not?
I have. I can only breathe through one nostril. So I had a blood clot on the cartilage and I had to have a lot of it removed.
Is it sore when you get hit with a 16-ounce glove?
Yeah, the gloves are to protect your hands. They're not to protect the person's face.
Yeah, but I mean, if you sink into the glove.
No, you don't.
No, it gets you.
The only thing a larger glove will provide you is
By the way, if you say no, you don't, I agree with you. I'm not going to fight.
The only thing a larger glove will provide you with is, I suppose, more to defend yourself with. It'll make it a little clunkier to throw a shot.
Aye.
But, you know, you're still getting...
You're getting hits.
If you're getting hit by a car, does it really matter if it's wrapped in foam? If it's travelling in...
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Now,
why did you decide to do boxing?
1992 Olympics. The 1992 Olympics, Michael Kruth and Wayne McCullough.
Oh, that switched you onto it.
Showed that anybody from here could do anything at the world level. And I suppose that was inspiration. It was the same. I played Gaelic, 1991 down. You know what? I was around that age where I was getting interested in sport, and those were the 2 things I wanted to do because, you know, the inspiration you saw from firstly down people you knew, and then secondly, the 2 Irish boxers winning Olympic medals was inspiration. If you're looking for inspiration, the back page this week is about Fergus Quinn. He boxes for Campbell ABC, plays Gaelic for Belieks.
Look at the size of his glove.
Well, Fergus, he was the full-back for the Abbey McCrory team. Now, he's selected to box for Ireland in a youth international against England on Friday night. He's also been selected to play for the Armagh minor team. So the story, we spoke to Martin McCusker, who is Fergus' boxing coach, and also Jody Gormley, who is his coach at the Abbey. And, you know, it certainly is a cause for achievement that somebody from is competing at elite level in 2 sports. Now, the problem comes down the line when he will ultimately have to make a choice because, as Jody Gormley said in the piece, it's not really a case of the training clashing. You can fit your training around one and the other. It's fixtures clashing. A boxing match isn't going to be cancelled for a football match and vice versa. So, but at present, it seems to be working wonderfully for him. Now, both coaches have said that probably the training from each sport is complementing the other.
Yes, of course.
So he's certainly one to watch. Now, he got to the All-Ireland final in his category. He's a middleweight last year, and he was unfortunately beaten by Luke Thomas from Cork. Luke Thomas is quite a sensational boxer. He's perhaps in the mould of some of the Olympians we've seen win medals in recent years. Now, for Quinn, I actually watched that fight. He was extremely competitive throughout. So he's Ireland's number 2 at middleweight, around under 18 level.
Yeah. If we're talking boxing excellence, need I go any further than the speedball in terms of technique? If you can handle a speedball.
Are you talking a speedball hanging from a bracket or a floor to ceiling ball?
Floor to ceiling.
Floor to ceiling.
Because it seems to me that it's not about just the sheer strength, it's about technique.
Well, it's timing more.
Timing.
Timing more than anything else. If you stuck solely to it, you wouldn't get far. You have to use that. There's all the different bags and all the different brackets and everything in the gym for a reason.
Aye.
It's each teaches you something different and offers something else, and each has its own shortcoming.
Oh yeah.
The main problem with a floor to ceiling ball would be that there's no resistance. You know,
By gum, you have to hit
if
it.
you hit an opponent, he's not gonna he's not gonna bounce back and forth.
Do you hit the boy against you in the ring? Do you need to hit him to get him and kill him?
Since I actually boxed, Ron. But no, it's sport.
Yeah, that's why it's a long time since you boxed. Well, you don't have a killer instinct.
No, it's for any of them. It's competition. It's that's like saying to a footballer, do you hate the guy you're playing? Not really.
They do. They say all sorts of things about his mummy and his family.
Doesn't mean he hates
Once
him.
upon a time when I played football, I would go out to mark a man, he'd be marking me. Which, hello, how are you doing? It's nice to see you. Have a good game. It is you go out, I'm told.
You're looking back through rose-tinted spectacles. The world was a fairly...
It was an innocent place in those days. It was, of course. You know that.
No different than it is today. No different
What else have you got for me there?
Obviously in sport it was a good week for down in Armagh.
It was.
In the National League. Down now pushing towards promotion. Armagh looking a
Benny off the bench.
bit more secure.
To do his thing. He scored a couple. Yeah.
He certainly did.
It's about all he's useful for nowadays. Keep him on the bench.
Scoring lots of goals.
Yeah, but I mean, keep him on the bench and then take him out towards the end and let him score lots of goals.
If that's all if he can come on for 20 minutes and score a couple of goals in any match.
I knew I was saying that the wrong way. I know that thing.
I don't think there's too many Down fans that'll complain.
They'll be happy with that.
It's a bit like I think Mickey Linton last year came off the bench and scored.
That's right.
A number of points in a game. So yeah, it hasn't been a bad week for sport locally in terms of the two teams. Now, Warrenpoint Town obviously are feeling it a wee bit tough at present, but hopefully things will turn around in another week and a half. Hopefully they'll be able to come back to Milltown after the pitches go back in shape and things will pick up towards the end of the season.
Where are you taking me now?
I'm taking you to Wind Farm. You're a man who could power a wind turbine all by himself.
Well, I'm looking at that. I'll take that in the spirit it was intended. But I'm looking there at a group of councillors, and exactly the same thought was coming to me. Well, they could actually power it.
We recently came through a bit of a farce in relation to the council setting a new policy on mobile phone
of course.
mast. Now, there would be a little concern we could be heading for something similar in relation to wind turbines and wind farms. Obviously, there's a proposal for a wind farm
off Kilkeel,
off the Southland coast, quite an extensive one. That project's progressing now, but obviously the point will come where the council will have to give its opinion on planning and whatnot. Now, the issue with the mobile phone mast was that the council's policy wasn't conducive to the delivery of the mobile infrastructure project, which would improve signal quality in South Down, South Armagh. Now, in relation to wind turbines, the council actually has no stated policy on whether they're for them, against them, indifferent to them. From that point of view, we look back through the archives, and in 2004, February 2004, a number of councillors from Newry and Mourne visited Arklow wind farm, and sometimes you wonder quite what the point of these trips is. Certainly you would have expected that a trip of that nature would have yielded a formal policy from the council in relation to wind farms.
Wouldn't it be lovely? Wouldn't it fill you with joy if such turned out to be the case? But it didn't. Well,
certainly, even at the time, they were talking about an offshore wind farm near Annalong. So
that's where we're going.
So no formal policy was established. Here we are 10 years later. There is actually a massive wind farm plan. Never mind the one offshore, but it's a continued source of, I suppose, aggravation in communities, fear about wind turbines going up in areas. And I suppose we need leadership. We need the local authority to take a decision on whether
It's very dangerous when you and I get together about council, I tell you. We need to be careful. I think... Because I know exactly what you're saying. The word leadership is interesting.
It's election time, and people elect people to make decisions on their behalf. And it'd be very interesting to see how many parties and groupings would be prepared to I guess, put their head in the chopping block and say, this is our position
on wind farms. I doubt it.
Because don't forget that planning powers will be transferred to councils post 2015. So the argument that, we're only a consultee, in this election especially, doesn't hold any water whatsoever, because it will be the council chamber that has the lion's share of the say in terms of planning. So from that point of view,
that's where we are. Yeah.
We need to see people, elected representatives, stand up and say, this is our position.
Right, one more to go. We have time for one more. Where are we?
One more to go. Now this is, Nelson McCausland will be very happy that not only is this clarified in print, but it's clarified to the millions watching around the world, Rowan. I know you have a fan club in Japan.
I'm big in Baghdad and Ballyholland.
Right.
There you are. Now, what are you going to bring me now?
Well, recently there was one of the things you get at a council meeting is the stack of reports from the various committee meetings.
Of course.
Now, one of the reports had stated that free wireless was coming to Warrenpoint and Kilkeel as a result of Department of Social Development funding.
Yes.
Now, the report also said that Crossmaglen would be on a waiting list for future funding for wireless, free wireless services.
Yeah. Is this wireless hi-fi? Oh, yeah.
Wi-Fi, yeah.
See how easily you just say wireless to me? I thought we were going to be handing out radios.
I've been very kind to people like you, Rowan. I've not only written wireless, but I've put in the Wi-Fi symbol.
You're very good. Bless you.
Yeah. So now Nelson,
people like me. Sorry, go on ahead. Yes.
So Nelson McCausland was less than impressed with the wording of, firstly, how the council report was written, and secondly, how it was covered in the newspaper.
Yeah. In your newspaper.
I believe he contacted a number of other newspapers as well in relation to it.
The poor fellow.
Now, he had said that there is no waiting list, and Crossmaglen most certainly isn't on it, because Crossmaglen doesn't have a population big enough to cross the threshold for funding consideration. So at which point we asked the council, where did this term waiting list come from? What exactly is the scenario? So the council have said that the February Economic Development Committee, the position was that DSD had secured funding for Wi-Fi in Kilkeel and Warrenpoint, which had been in doubt up to then, and council was awaiting confirmation of funding via rates for Crossmaglen, as DSD could not fund this project in Crossmaglen.
That's nuanced.
That's entirely different than
Absolutely
what
it is.
The report had said.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see when the ins and outs of the recent rates debates are unravelled, whether this waiting list via rates for Crossmaglen.
There's divilment shining out of your eyes.
How long is the waiting list? Is it'd be very interesting to see. It's just
Go well. God bless you. Take care. All the best to you. Some music for the man.